going to do a song, but with karaoke.
Yeah. We're looking for free entertainment.
Free entertainment.
If you want to keep it low,
No.
Just like, to make the market more attractive.
Okay.
I got a 55 gallon.
Acoustic.
Yeah. No, I think you'll make some tips.
I think that's great.
Ya. Bolívar, dale audífonos a Al, por favor.
Hey, papá, prueba los micrófonos.
Ya vamos al aire ya.
¿Ya estamos al aire?
Ya, te lo envié ya.
¿Por qué no están hablando?
No, pero ya, o sea, están
Dame
tirados
unos
al programa.
audífonos para él, por favor. Unos negros. Ahí, aquí están. Pero yo lo que quiero saber, bueno, ojo, pero yo no quiero yo quiero que estés escuchando el radio.
Sí, sí, ahí lo tengo.
Okay, we're in the air in 30 seconds.
Get about this close to the mic. Okay? Otherwise, nobody will listen. If it goes like that,
I'm sure people. I'm afraid to cough, Yeah. No fist fighting. Yeah, on purpose.
Ready to roll?
Okay, we're coming. Oh.
Good morning, everybody. This is Al Stefanelli. You are listening to Boquete Now, Talk Radio, on Radio Cherokee 103.3 FM. And you can also listen live on RadioCherokee.com, and you can download the free Radio Garden app. All you got to do is go to the search box, put in Radio Cherokee 103.3, hit that little favorite button, and you can listen crystal clear all the time. We are sponsored by Big Daddy's Grill, Boulder 54, and the Tap Out Sport Zone. 3 wonderful places to eat and to hang out. We have special guests today in the outdoor studio. We have D. Horn and Justin from Tap Out, and we're going to talk all about the Tuesday market. I know everybody's been asking a lot of questions and wondering what's going on. Well, here is where you're going to get the lowdown, the nitty-gritty, and every piece of information you could possibly want about the Tuesday market. Before we go on, I want to touch a little bit on the latest communication from MINSA, as we do every Friday. MINSA is working on a call for more health personnel to care for hospital adjustments for patients with COVID-19. The Ministry of Health works on the call for recruitment of suitable health personnel. They're trying to get more people in here, and the adaptation of various rooms in the network of public hospitals for the care required by those who are suffering with the coronavirus. The call is advanced based on legal requirements in order to comply with the corresponding terms to meet these requirements and always complying with the provisions of the national emergency. MINSA has already advanced with the architectural plan and details so that the wards of the different hospitals in the public network are ready to receive patients and for both COVID-19 and other pathologies. Public and network hospitals are being managed through the Inter-Hospital Control Center in order to achieve a more effective performance that allows each patient to be received and cared for. The center monitors beds, medications, equipment, and other supplies in order to respond to the need of each person who is affected by the effects of this pandemic and other diseases. Now, the Vice Minister of Health, Yvette Berno, visited Nicholas Salerno Hospital yesterday in order to know what the conditions are of this new medical center and to verify the progress of 2 wards that will be enabled to serve the population of Panama West, one of the most affected areas by COVID-19. The health minister, Luis Sucre, together with the Social Security Fund, that's CSS, have also implemented the inter-hospital coordination strategy, whose objective is to guarantee the adequate administration of resources at the national level through the inter-hospital control center. This strategy is to improve the installed capacity and that no patient is left without the care that is required both in Panama West and in the rest of the country. In the case of the Darien, the installation of a mobile hospital in the province has been arranged for patient care, which has a capacity of 20 beds. The latest epidemiological, I said that right, the latest epidemiological report is there are 5,528,165 people that have recovered. How's that for some good news throughout the world? There are 10,700,000 and something thousand accumulated positive cases and 517,000 deaths. Now, the mortality rate worldwide is at 4.8, but in Panama, we have 16,445 recovered patients. Yes, there were 774 new positive cases for a total of 35,237. To date, they have applied 2,352 tests, and the positivity rate is at 33%. And 22 new deaths as well. However, our mortality rate is still below 2%, so hang in there, people, because we're getting it done. There are 17,181 people that are in home isolation. They're not in the hospital. They're recovering at home. And there are 944 people in the ward in the hospital, 149 in ICU. So that that pretty much rounds up what's been going on. We want to welcome to our show Dee Horn and Mr. Justin from Tap Out and from the Tuesday Market. Welcome to the show.
Buenos dias.
So, I know that you brought some talking points with you, which we're going to definitely get to right away. There's been a little, I don't want to say confusion, but people have been asking questions about the posts that you have made on social networking. So, from the source, tell us what's going on with the new market.
Well, I want to first start with the history of the Tuesday Market.
Great.
Yeah, it started way back when at Panamonte Hotel. It was a speech group, and they decided to bring in a couple of people to sell some things where they had the speakers at the Panamonte bar. That got a little too crowded, so they moved over to the Fundadores Hotel. And that went for a while, and through the generosity of Ana Yancy, who actually owns the building, which was originally called Snoopy's.
Yeah, people still refer to it as
Snoopy's.
Snoopy's.
The Panamanians, if you want to tell them where it is, you tell them it's at Snoopy's. In the Snoopy's building, they built in the theater. Through the generosity of volunteers, they put together that theater and set that all up. And when I came here 10 years ago, that market was pretty small. There was, in the Hex room, which is the room in the middle where the bar is for the restaurant, there was just a couple of tables where you could sit and talk to people. And it was a very nice, mellow market. And with time, they continued to accrue more and more vendors. And luckily, in the past year, through the generosity of the management of Tap Out, the building has been majorly improved.
Oh, yeah.
And much more comfortable to work in. But because of some lease issues, things have changed. And we as vendors really like this facility. We want to stay at the facility because we feel it's meeting our needs.
Sure.
So when we were told by the management of the market previously that we were no longer welcome at the tap out, we decided to come together as vendors, and we decided we wanted to be in charge of how the market was run.
Mm-hmm.
So we are just vendors selling our wares in the original building, the tap out building. And we are not for profit. We are not trying to make money from having the vendors there. We are just paying our rent and our costs, and you can come and support us by visiting every Tuesday like you have in the past. You're probably going to see most of your favorite vendors there. We're going to have a new vibe. We're going to have a real chill market. We're going to have some space for people to sit and have a cup of coffee, eat some of that wonderful food that's brought in by all those different vendors. We want an international market we have Ukrainians, we have Germans, we have French, we have all kinds of different food varieties that are available. So we want people to not feel so crowded and rushed. A lot of people, I heard so many complaints, people say, I don't want to spend any time at the market, I just want to get my veggies and get the hell out.
Right, yeah.
We don't want that anymore. We want this to be a community center, a community gathering, so that people can come and see friends that they only get to see once a week. Have time to just sit down and hopefully listen to some live music and not stand in front of the tables of the vendors blocking the view of the wares because there's no place for anybody to stand.
So when the health department, when MINSA, finally allows these establishments to open up, I would assume that you guys are going to be observing like social distancing. You're going to have space between the tables. Is that what you mean by being more accessible?
Exactly. That's part of the rules, is that we do need the social distancing, but we would have that anyway.
Sure.
Because we don't want, there's an inch in a corner over there, let's put a table. We don't want that. We don't have to do that because we're not making any money off of the spaces. The spaces are just there for us to rent.
Right.
So what we're going to do is we now have confirmation from the Rotary that they are going to be running the morning talks in the theater.
I wanted to ask, since you are the official market historian, you had mentioned when you started telling us the history that it started at the Panamonte as, excuse me, I don't have coronavirus, everybody, by the way. I smoke too much, so I have a smoker's cough. And if you see me smoking online in Peru, don't give me that stink eye. Anyway.
Smoke in line of a room?
No, I cough in line in Peru. You mentioned that there were speakers, right, at the Panamonte.
Right.
Are the Tuesday talks
Yes.
Is that kind of an expansion of what you originally started?
Yes, that's what that came from.
That's very interesting.
Right. And so we are going to let the Rotary take that over, and who they decide to bring in for the talks is going to be up to them. But if they charge a fee, which they might, it will be going to benefit the Rotary Club, and which will ultimately benefit Boquete.
Well, it's usually $1 or $2.
Usually $1 admission. I can't speak for them, but they're really excited that they're going to be able to take on this adventure and try and have this accessible for all the different Boqueteños. So we're just really excited about that. What I was also mentioning about the music is that we really want to take advantage of the fabulous stage that Tap Out has put in there, and they
Yeah.
have.
Isn't that beautiful?
It's
Some
a really beautiful
really
stage.
awesome guy actually consulted on that. I don't know who he is, but it turned out really nice.
And the basketball.
Yeah.
It still stands.
All right. Well, let me throw this over to you, Justin, because I mean, I played live music at Tap Out.
Yeah, that's true.
And the way it's set up is great. You know, it really is, especially during the times of the year when we have the Bahareki.
It's better
or
now
it's-
because we have a dance floor.
I was going to ask you
Put the
because
dance floor in, and like a week later, we had to shut down due to coronavirus.
yeah, because see, the last time I was
beautiful
there, it was I noticed that there was the beginning of something going on there right out in front of the stage. So you have a dance floor there
Dance
now.
floor.
Hoorah.
Maybe 20 people, 25 people.
Yeah.
It's nice.
And so that's where you're going to want to have just some acoustic.
Right, some soft background music so that people can sit at the benches and chairs and just enjoy this community gathering. Again, we all know that there is going to be another market that's going to be across the street at the Feria. And there's also an artisan market across the street from us. And we really feel that there is room for everyone.
Sure.
It's not a competition, it's a community gathering, a market day.
Yeah.
It's like the big mercado we have right across from Romero. It's not a competition thing for those guys.
Right.
They all get the same vegetables pretty much from the same people, and they sell them. And you choose your favorite vendor or favorite side of the market. It's going to be the same thing. If you have a certain vendor that you like, you go to that market and visit that vendor. If that vendor is across the street, you go across the street.
Yeah.
It's not an expansion of the Tuesday market.
But explain that because I know what it means, but let's let everyone know
Well,
what the Tuesday market.
When the vendors came together, the core of vendors, which are people that decided to volunteer their time to get this started, we threw around what the names could be. And some of them, like some people said, well, why don't we call it the Gringo Market? Because that's what everybody calls it. And I said, that's not a very good, that's not a good name. But I said, you know, everybody just calls it the Tuesday Market.
Yeah.
That's what we've always called it. And it's the same market. It isn't going to be different except improved. So we decided to slap on that capital the, so everybody knows it's that original market.
It's the original market.
Interesting.
So, Justin, have you any idea from? Cause I'm not a merchant. I don't own a store here. So, all I know about the progress that Mensa is making is what comes over my newswire. Do you have any further information about maybe when Tap Out and
Well,
all the
Tap
other
Out-
places might be allowed to open?
Tap Out is clearly going to be in Block 4 with the rest of
Okay.
the restaurants,
Great,
the
great,
hotels,
great.
and the tourism industry. The interesting thing about the market is nobody is really sure under which category, under which block they're going to fit.
Right.
There's an argument that can be made that the market should be treated the same as the municipal market, which has been open the whole time.
Right.
There's an argument that can be made that they would be under large unnecessary gatherings in Block 6. So
Right.
really, we don't know. I do have a meeting this Saturday with somebody from Mensa. I'm going to walk him through the space, show him around. I have a plan of the plano of the area and talk about distancing and find out what we have to do to open sooner rather than later. So
Well, I've
the
been
short
over-
answer is I don't know, but I am hoping, especially as it seems as if the government in Panama is going to start treating districts and
Well, I've been to that market, the Mercado, the big market, and I've noticed that, yeah, you buy your fruits and vegetables, but a lot of the vendors also sell other products along with their food. So it would make sense to me, in my limited capacity of how the Panamanian government works, that if you can go to the big market, we call it the Red Roof Market, and buy tomatoes, bananas, and a trinket, that you should be able to also go to the Tuesday market, excuse me, and that would fall under the same category of a block 4.
Yeah. And we'll know more this weekend, so maybe you want to have us back next week? Could be.
Could be.
We'll have an
Could
update.
be.
We'll know more after this weekend.
Okay, that'd be great.
Going back a little bit and touching on the idea of the gringo market. Tap out, now that we kind of have control of the whole building, we have a different vision for the whole building. And that space over the last 10 years or so has really been known in the Panamanian community as a gringo space.
Right.
And we're trying to get out of that.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you guys decided not to go with the name the Gringo Market. I like the Tuesday Market is much better.
Well, I know you and Chris and for a large part Austin, but mostly you and Chris have really been trying to integrate our community. And you and I talked about that. I've talked about that extensively with Chris, that the goal is to have it a more inclusive area.
Especially that spot.
Yeah.
With all the Panamanian families that walk across the bridge, it's really important that space be more welcoming to everybody. And really, the truth is right now it's not seen that way.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's
some interesting things coming.
That's a cultural paradigm that is not going to happen overnight.
True.
True. But with what you guys have been doing, trying to get everything over there a little more inclusive. Hopefully, by the time everything gets opened up, with Facebook posts and other marketing ideas, the Panamanian community will realize that that's their space too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, I interrupted you. Go ahead.
No, I think I was done. Is it true that you tried to get Chris for this, and he was all booked up, and you had to?
Yeah, well, he had contacted me the other day.
That I was in second place, and
no, you guys were always in first place because Dee had sent me a text.
No, I know her, but I just heard you would have preferred to have Chris, and he was all booked up.
Oh no.
Is that not true?
You better than Chris. Sorry, Chris. Send the check to no, he had mentioned yesterday that if he had some time this morning, he'd.
Well, the helicopter flew over. I thought maybe that was him.
Might be.
Yeah, he's big time now on YouTube, and so.
That's right, the famous chef, the world famous chef.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, we have a spot for you, Chris. If you're out there listening, we have an empty chair and a microphone set up for you. So if you want to cruise by at any time,
come on out, buddy.
Come on out, man. Yes, Dee.
So, if you are a vendor, you should have received our email asking if you wanted to join with us, and if you are interested in becoming part of the market. The one issue we do have is space, because we are going to have less tables available because of the spacing. We'll probably have less vendors, and those vendors that have been involved with the market and wish to return will have first priority.
Sure.
But we're welcoming the community, Panamanians. If you have if you're a cook with your health certificate, if you'd like to sell your food, or if you have something that you make and you want to sell, then you can contact me. My phone number is 6667-2671. That's on Facebook, on WhatsApp, and you can send me a message and let me know if you're interested in joining the market.
And as usual, probably tomorrow when I post my post-show promo, I will have all that information. So make sure you get me that. Whatever you want me to put on there, it'll get out to 20,000 to 30,000 people.
Okay, I'll just repeat the number one more time.
Yeah.
My name is Dee Horn, and my WhatsApp is 6667-2671.
You mentioned in passing, and I wanted to come back to the health certificate. And I know that has been an issue here and there over the years, obviously, and that's not a dig or anything, but it has come up from time to time. So now that Mensa is going to have more of a hands-on approach to the reopening of the blocks and everything, how is that going to affect some of the vendors? Are you only going to allow vendors in there that have the
They will only be allowed if they have a health certificate. It must be laminated on the table in this full display, so in case somebody comes by and wants to see it, it's available. They have to prove they have it, or they're not going to be allowed to sell their food.
Well, yeah, that's also gives the buyer a sense of security, knowing that you're especially food products.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're okay. This is someone who has been approved and has obviously gone through an inspection process, and their food is relatively safe. So that's kind of, to me as a consumer, that's kind of a big deal, having that. So kudos to you guys.
As a consumer, touching on something that Dee said about competition, through friendly competition, advancements are made.
Sure.
So really, the end user, the consumer, will benefit if there is a little friendly competition.
100%.
Yeah. So we plan on you guys, I think, plan on making the Tuesday market better, improved, and that really forces everybody in that space to improve their market.
Well, sure. Plus, to remain
And the consumer
compliant,
benefits in the end. So
if they want to stay there too, they need to make sure that all of their stuff's in order. Yeah.
Correct.
yeah.
So, Dee, I did want to ask you now, the way the market was set up. I remember I've been there many, many times because you spoke earlier to the crowding problem. Here's an open spot. Let's shove a table in there. When you have everything set up, is it going to be, say, the food items or the vegetables are going to be in this location? The non-food items are going to be here. The artisans are going to be here. You're going to have it set up in some sort of an order?
No, we were thinking we want it more like a French market, that you wander through and you can stop and pick up a loaf of bread, and next to them is maybe some cheese, and next to them is maybe somebody that makes quilts, and next to them is somebody that makes jewelry. We want it to be a free flow so that people don't just, it's kind of like having the milk at the back of the market.
Yeah.
If we have all the veggies in one section, all of the food made ahead of time, people could just come right in and get that and leave. But if you have to saunter through things to go get to your favorite things, you may catch your eye might be caught by a pair of earrings, and you go, oh, it's my mom's birthday, I need to get something.
I heard a rumor that there's a really, really, top-line jewelry.
We have a lot of top-line jewelers. At
You
our
being
market.
one of them.
Well, thank you very much. But we really want a whole new vibe, that we don't want to separate people out. We will put people in the hex room that have more fragile items.
Sure.
Because of the wind that
yeah.
can come along.
We
But,
never get that here.
but we
Not
will,
today.
Not today.
Beautiful
day. But we will go ahead and have people mixed together. So kind of like it was before. We kind of had it that way before, but we're gonna, like I said, Sylvette Day, one of our board members, came up and said, let's have a French market, because she's French. And I said, yeah.
As one does.
We want to have an international vibe. Like I said, people from all over the world are welcome in our market. It's not just a gringo market.
Isn't it nice to have autonomy and be able to make these
having
changes
these
and
decisions
make a
is-
suggestion and actually see it
We
through?
actually are asking people their opinion and listening to people, because it's the Vendors Market Association. It's the vendors making the decision of where things are. It's our voice. We will not be silenced because for fear that we would be thrown out of the market if we said anything negative.
I understand that, and that actually sounds like it would work better for everybody. Like I said, I'm not a vendor. I've done flea markets in the past, and I've sold pretty much everything in flea markets, and I remember some of those markets were geared towards, hey, what do you have? Where do you want to be? What size do you want? And I have had others that say, oh, hi, here, we're going to put you over here in a tiny spot. And I'm like, I have no room for my stuff, especially when I was selling computer stuff. You try setting up, 15 computer systems in a 4x8 space. You can't do it. So the vendors having that level of input is actually going to make it a better market.
It will be, and because of that, you'll have happy vendors, and happy vendors make a happy market.
Happy vendors. Maybe that's the happy vendor market.
There you go. There you go. You know, something else I think is important to touch on is the parking. The
Yes.
parking's always a problem. It's always been a problem. We are working to possibly open up the Boulder 54 parking lot as extra space for the vendors. So if there are 30 vendors, that's 30 cars that won't be occupying the tap-out parking lot. So small little things. Also, we've toyed around with the idea, should distancing be necessary, using some of the area Boulder 54 for extra tables, maybe along that beautiful walkway going back to the gazebo of Boulder 54.
Well,
So
that's
we
what-
have a big property on which to expand should it be necessary. So
And that's one of the things I wanted to ask you about, because I know that those two properties are connected, and obviously they're connected in more ways than just geographically.
true.
And those grounds are gorgeous.
Yeah, and most people don't know they're there.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
I had, and it's funny because I've been here for years now, and I've played music at both those locations, and was only recently when the ACCB did, Chris and Richard did some kind of a wing cook-off, that I was like, wow, okay, I didn't even know that there was access from one to the other. I thought you had to just walk around
Oh
the
yeah,
block.
no,
So
it's
no,
beautiful
that's,
little pavers and
those grounds are gorgeous, man.
lighting, a little lake back there. It's very nice.
Yeah, you could put
Beautiful back there. So we have room to expand. You have room to expand.
And that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. And the interesting thing about it is that when I first came here, I've been here about 2.5 years. The very first thing that was brought to my attention was the Tuesday market, because I had asked, well, where can I find blah blah blah. When you're new in town, you get on the Facebook pages and where can I find blah, and everyone had directed me to the Tuesday market. This is where you can get things that you might not be able to find. Finding spinach here sometimes is like digging a mine. But there's always someone there that has spinach or prepackaged, really good prepackaged food. And when I started going down to the market, I found it to be a place where not only were I able to find the odd things that I like, but I started making friends with vendors. I started seeing people that I know that I met at the Meet Boquete Newcomers group. Well, I'm starting to see these people in the market now, and I've developed some very, very special friendships over the past couple of years from that community, that community gathering type of a thing.
And that's the reason why I came here 10 years ago for that market specifically. And there was nothing online. There was no Boquete News. There was nothing. And I just happened to see a blog and saw that there was this market. And I said, I'm going to go on that day. And I did meet someone that assisted me on getting to move here. And to me, that's why the market is so important, is so that we can gather and new people can meet the people that have been here for a while and can ask questions. And that's why we want to have areas so people can sit aside and relax and chat and not feel that urge to run away, where they can sit and listen to some music. And I said, enjoy the food that they have purchased. And it's going to be a party.
Yeah.
And we want that party atmosphere.
But I'm glad you brought up parking. I mean, that tap out has got already very great. I mean, that's
Probably 30 cars. I think.
You can fit probably more than that, because you got 10. I'd say
I've seen more than 30. It's just not advisable.
Well, there's a lot of SUVs and Helixes.
Yeah,
so you can't really. I remember going in there when I had that little Kia Picanto. It's like, I can't find my car. There it is. It's behind two Helixes and a CRV. But no, that actually is the two locations, Boulder and Tap Out, have some of the best parking in town.
This is true.
And I have to. Are you going to have the same type of because when I pull in there's always somebody directing, and that really is helpful.
Yes, we will continue that.
And also there's parking around back too if you have a handicap.
Exactly, for handicap only.
For handicap
And that's
only.
where the vendors come to unload their boxes and things, and that's what's so convenient to having the market at Tap Out, is that specifically because we all take turns coming in, unloading our boxes, and we then go park. And I guess Pierrot was talking about how difficult it was doing it at the feria, because he did a dog show there, and he said it was quite a feat to be able to get things unloaded. So for our vendors, they can, on the morning, they can pull into the big parking lot, unload, and they always move away. So we want parking spaces for our customers. They're not allowed to park in the parking lot because we want room for people to come and to shop.
Okay, so when the vendors come, they load, they park elsewhere?
Yes, they
Probably
park
at Boulder.
Probably
at
Boulder.
Yeah. Well, no, the spot parking at the feria, I have found that if you get there early enough, you can get a decent spot. Several times though during
One of the 4 spots.
Yeah, one of the 4 or 5
where
spots
the
up
road's
front.
not falling off
When they had the health fair.
Yeah.
There, or they had Oktoberfest. I ended up parking, halfway down towards the new Piedemonte Bridge. So yeah, and I do know that is a big deal for a lot of people.
Right.
Can I just drive in, park somewhere, get out of my car, walk down the stairs? By the way, in case you're not aware, if you have difficulty with stairs, right before the stairs going down to tap out, if you make a quick right, there's a ramp. There's a ramp that comes all the way around and gets you down to the ground level. I've had to use that a time or two, carrying speakers.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant after. After being a tap out for 3 or 4 hours.
Just give me a pillow and leave me where I am. But no, that's really handy to have, because me carrying a heavy object down the stairs will end one way.
Yeah. Not good.
And me and what I'm carrying will end up broken. So, but I know this is a retirement community. There are people here that have balance issues and whatnot. So between the handicap parking and that ramp, the area is extremely accessible.
Very accessible. And thank you for bringing that up, because we do want people to know that we do have accessibility to our market.
Yeah. All right, now we got some time left. We got about 20 minutes or so. Now you brought some things that you wanted to talk. I don't know if you've covered that. You've already covered that already. Okay, Justin. The way that tap out is set up. I know that previously the main area, the entrance area, has been changed a couple of times, and there are some things that were available there that I don't know. Let us know if they're going to be still available there or at the other market. One of them is the Gringo Express mail service. Is that something that you're going to be doing or adding to? It could be done in both places.
I know that we were contacted by the people that operated the former market, the Tuesday market, and they asked to use the tap-out parking lot for the time being to get the mail out, and of course we said no problem. So I think for now they're going to continue with that service, and we've given them access to the tap-out parking lot.
Good. Yeah. See,
I don't know what the plan.
This is how communities work together, right? This is what
it doesn't really have to be us versus them. I think there's room for everybody. And
well, several people, when you had initially posted, the rebirth post on Facebook.
That was the other market.
That was the other market. Yes, you are correct. I'm sorry about that. It's the comments that have come up on both posts. We're asking specific questions, but there's been a lot of positive feedback on both.
I was surprised.
But yeah, both the posts from the other market and both and from yours about, hey, this is fantastic. Tuesday is market day.
Exactly. We're just getting more sophisticated. We're getting bigger in our little town in order to be able to support those markets.
Well, it's really nice because when the posts started coming out, my first thought was, the Michael Jackson eating popcorn meme. There's going to be this is you. I think where this is about to go.
There are some people out there that are really wanting to stir the pot.
Blood versus Crips. Blood versus
That's
Crips.
what I'm not letting that
Well, but the
go
community won't let that happen either, because
No.
the feedback from the community has been largely positive. Nobody has said anything about, oh, this is going to be terrible, this is going to be a cat fight. It's been like, this is great. Now we have more places to go. Nobody has said, to my knowledge, oh, well, we'll never go to that place, or we're never going to go to that place, because everyone's like, great, there's more places to spend my money.
Absolutely, and that's why we want a very positive atmosphere about this. We do not think of this as us versus them. We think of it as a community marketplace. And people said, well, why can't you have it on a different day? Well, a lot of reasons is because most of us only want to do it once a week. It is a lot of work. It takes me an hour and a half to set up my table and an hour and a half to tear down. I have to pay for that table. If I don't sell anything and make any money,
You're paying to be there.
I'm paying to be there. So I have no desire, and then that's pretty much the feelings of a lot of the vendors, is they don't want to do it more than one time a week.
And a lot of consumers have said the same thing.
Yeah, they don't want to come into town twice a
That's
week.
the day. Tuesday is the market day.
Right.
It's always been
Always
the
will
market
be.
day.
Exactly. How would you pick which day you want to go? Oh, which market has the spinach? Which market has? It doesn't matter if we're all open and you can just cross the street and go to each market and pick out what you want.
Now, if you have a vendor, that say has a store in town, a brick and mortar, just an actual store, and they wanted a table at the other market,
Right.
and a table at the Tuesday market, is that something you'd be willing to do?
Absolutely fine. We have no problems with that whatsoever. And we have people that aren't brick and mortar that would like to have a table at both,
That is
and
one, yeah.
we welcome that. There's no, like I said, there's no competition. If they feel that one market has more business than the other, and if they want to stay with one versus the other, that's their choice. It doesn't matter to us. If we have the space available, we will provide it. But again, we're going to have a lot less spaces available. So our vendors, it's pretty much going to be a lot of the previous vendors that have shown us they're strong. They stay with us all year long in August, September, when there's no tourists, when we don't have as many customers. Those are the people we want to support, and I'm one of those people, and I want to have those people working with me that I know they're going to support me all year long versus people that come in at Christmas time and want a table when it's the best season. And that's going to be a little bit harder for us because we may not be able to bring in those people. That's why that market across the street, maybe they'll be able to provide spaces for people on the fly that want to come in and sell something. They'll have a space available, and our market will be pretty much those set vendors that you've been working with all these years, so that you will just come and buy the things you need that you know, and then maybe you want to check out what's happening on the other side.
Well, are you now? This is just an off-the-cuff question, because I'm thinking, okay, walking down the stairs. Is there going to be any kind of, either on Facebook or on a leaderboard somewhere, a list of who's at the market today?
That's a very good question. We are going to be announcing the vendors once we're close to knowing who is when we're going to be open.
Because we all have our favorites.
Right, exactly. And I think that's a really great idea. We are going to have a Facebook page for the Tuesday market, and it will list who the vendors are.
Cool.
And that's a great idea. And if we start finding, like, maybe at when we have spaces available, we can let people know that we have new vendors that have come on board, and they can know who they are. But pretty much, it's like I said, it's going to be those people that you've been seeing for the past years that you really like their food, their veggies, their jewelry, their sewing, whatever they have. Those people that you come for the market to see every week, they're going to be there.
Now, Justin, and that's very good to hear, because, like I said, we all have our favorites.
That's
right?
definitely.
I can think of
I have
one right
mine.
now that I might drive up to San Francisco and visit him personally to bring some baked goods home. Anyway, Justin, is Tap Out going to be, I don't want to say open for business, but is there going to be anything on your end over there, like wings or sodas or whatever?
We've served some breakfast items in the past, and kind of keeping with the idea that they have about having open space. We'll probably have some breakfast items, some coffee, some good food to serve where people can get it at the bar and then take it out to the picnic table.
Because I know that there you can buy pre-made food there. I'm just thinking,
We'll have
like,
a presence there.
so like if I go, you know, I might want to, you know, get something. If I'm not shopping for food, all right, let me go in there and get what I want.
A
Go
croissant,
out,
one
get
of
a
Thursday's
croissant, a
bacon.
couple, and then wander down to the sitting area, listen to some music, eat my breakfast, and
That's the idea.
chit chat with with my neighbors.
That's
the
the
idea.
idea.
That's the
Yeah,
idea.
I can see where you're coming from. Yeah, and
We're excited. It's gonna be different. It's gonna be new and improved, and it's exciting. I just hope we can open up soon.
And
Because the waiting is it's getting old.
The
isn't
waiting
it?
is the
Very
hardest
old.
part.
Yeah.
Yeah, some philosopher said that, named Tom Petty. Yeah, and as far as the music goes, we wanted to clarify that, you know, as much as we like our nighttime entertainment, it's not going to be a rock band or anything like that. It's just a couple of acoustic musicians up there softly playing.
Yeah,
some
maybe
background music,
it's just somebody that has moved here recently, or is just a musician that they want to be able to play, that they maybe at home they do it, but they want to share their music with us. We just want people to come and hear something softly in the background that people can come and look and watch them play.
Yeah.
But we want our
want
customers
people to
to
stay.
to stay,
want people
but
to
we
stay.
want to be able to hear what people are saying.
Sure, yeah.
We don't want to be going, what, you know.
Well, and as far as you've explained earlier before the show, this is totally voluntary.
It's voluntary.
And so this is not a paid gig. I'm a musician. You all know me. I've been playing music all over this town for years. This is not a paid gig. If you want to volunteer, though, and be part of the community,
Yes.
and you know, I love playing. I'll probably end up hauling my amp and the harmonicas up there with Roger and.
It's exposure. Maybe you do have 2 people or 3 people that can do an acoustic set, and maybe people will say, "Hey, I'd like to hire you for my party." Or
And one of the reasons I wanted to make sure everyone knew it was voluntary is that there's going to be some sort of a tip jar up
yes.
there.
Oh, yeah,
So you know,
yes.
and as a musician, that's always appreciated. Me and the various bands I have been in have done a lot of benefits. We've done a lot of benefit shows in this town for various organizations that we did not receive compensation for, because that's the agreement that we made. We wanted to support this.
Right.
But we really appreciated, you know, over the course of the evening, that $50, $60 that was thrown in there, you know, it pays for our lunch. You know,
Right.
so don't forget to tip your waiters, and
And
your musicians.
and your musicians. But we do want people, if you are interested in doing a gig with us, you have my number. I'll repeat it one more time. My name is Dee Horn. It's 6667-2671 on my WhatsApp, and we'd love to hear from you if you would like to join into our community jam session.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. And I have not yet seen that dance floor, Justin, because the last time I was there, it was one of Mike's, DJ Mike Weber. He had one of his shows there. I was there with Day, and I know Patrick was out there taking all of his pictures and video. We had a great time. It was fantastic. It was 2 days
It
before.
wasn't in yet. Is that right?
No, it wasn't in yet.
It was probably marked off.
Yeah, it
big
was.
rocket
There
removed.
was the stakes and then all
Yeah.
that. And I remember the first thing that I think Chris was there. I don't know. So one of the employees there made sure that I was aware of the 2 big holes in front of the stage, because I know that you were getting ready to do that. I had not had the opportunity to see that yet, and I talked to my wife.
It's going to change things. Over
Oh,
there.
yeah.
When we're allowed to open, because I know how you guys like to dance. I don't.
Oh yeah,
But I know how some of you do. And before, you know, you're dancing in the grass. If it had been raining, it's muddy.
Yeah.
People trying to dance up by the restaurant, but there's nothing really comparable to being in front of the stage.
No, it's a lot of fun,
It's
and you
gonna
know,
be-
and
it's going to be cool.
Speaking as a musician, I know that when you open up again, you're going to be resuming your evening entertainment.
We're going to ramp it up.
And that is going to
We're
be
gonna ramp it
great
up.
for, you know, speaking as a musician, it's a really, really great feeling to be up there playing music and seeing a crowded dance floor.
Yeah.
That just makes us want to play better, you know, but when you don't have anyone there because of the rain, the
Yeah.
mud, or whatever.
Or they're clear up here. You know,
Yeah, and that's a
dancing.
great spot, you know, to play music in over there. If you haven't been over to Tap Out, well, you need to get out from under your rock when they open up
Exactly.
and go down there. The way it's set up, is it's you can access everything from outside, from inside, and that area, that community area down there with the benches and the big giant Jenga. You're still going to keep that, right?
Yeah, we still have that.
They got a little
It's still
basketball
there,
court
no one's
out there,
stolen that, yeah.
and a fire pit. The fire pit.
The fire, and we just put in some artificial turf.
Oh,
So I don't think you saw that either.
no.
So it's only about half done. So, but when it's done, when we're able to open up,
Yeah.
and it's not half turf, but the
Oh.
turf goes all the way around the fire pit, it's gonna be nice.
Cool.
It's gonna be
If you have a fire pit, you should consider marshmallows. That is so fun.
Well, you know,
nice. Yeah, I think we've
the-
tried. I think the
the-
Rock does that. and
The
they
Rock
do
does
does
that,
that.
and there's no reason why, there's not a
We've done that at Big
competition.
Daddy's. We've done that at Big Daddy's.
Oh,
In the
okay.
back.
It's fun.
It is. Yeah, the kids like it.
everybody loves a roasted
Kids.
marshmallow
Oh,
and a
everyone
balloon.
likes it. Okay.
Well, it's you know, this last 4 months have been, you know, trying for a lot of us. You know, we haven't been able to go to our favorite places. We haven't been able to see our friends. We haven't really been able to do much of anything. And I know everyone's kind of chomping at the bit to get out there. And the businesses have been obviously affected a
Oh, man.
lot,
Unbelievable.
you know, by this. So we're really, all of us, the whole community, whether you're a merchant, a vendor, a business owner, or a consumer, we're all looking, you know, to get back to what we know that there's going to be a new normal. There's going to be social distancing or physical distancing, if you are averse to the term social distancing, as some of you are. But there's going to be spacing requirements, and there are things that are going to be part of our everyday life. But you know, we're all anxious to not just to get out and to you know, patronize our favorite places, but we also want, as consumers and as members of this community, we want to see our businesses prosper.
Right. And I've already been getting messages from the public saying they're listening to the show and they're looking forward to us opening. They love our ideas and our plan, and they think 2 markets on the same day is a great idea.
Yeah.
And our hours are going to be from 9 to 1.
9
So
to
we
1.
are expanding the time a little bit, because there are people that come at lunchtime from the businesses around town, and
Sure.
or they just get into town at that point and they look around, everybody's already gone. I mean, it's going to be up to the vendors how long they want to stay, but we were not allowed to stay that late before. So now, because Tap Out has generously allowed us to have a little extra time at the market, we will be open an hour later.
Yeah, and you know, that's interesting about the competition thing. You know, it's how many restaurants are in Boquete? What, 135 in the whole district?
No, but like 70.
There's
I
like-
believe,
there's-
counting
there's-
all the fondas and everything else.
You know,
80 restaurants.
And nobody looks at it, well, you know, we're not going to eat there because, you know, the restaurants in general, businesses in town thrive on that company. It's a free market. You
It's
know,
good for the consumer.
It's good for
definitely
everybody,
good for
you
the
know.
consumer.
So, and if you've got a superior product, or if you have a better service, or if you have a better reputation, or if you have anything that sets you apart, that is not a dig against someone who might be a competitor of yours. You're entitled, all of us here that are in business in town have the opportunity to make our what we offer better than it is. So if you go ahead and do that, and you offer a better service, and you offer a more convenient location, or you offer, you know, more opportunity, the market is going to dictate whether or not you are successful. So when I look and I see and I listen and I talk and I ask questions, and the responses I get, the dance floor, you know, the spacing, the French market. I didn't even know that was a thing. I learned that. I was today years old. I learned there was such a thing as a French market.
Yes, when I was in Paris, it was really fun going to the local market. And like I said, there's the pate people and the bread and the veggies, and then slipped in between there is a jeweler and somebody that sells plants. And it's the way to go. It allows you to, it's like a eye candy. It allows you to see all different colors and shapes and forms versus just seeing veggies and just seeing meat and just seeing jewelry.
Oh, so you walk through and you go, shiny. Yeah, that's, well, we're all looking, we've got about 5 minutes left. And what I would like to do is, as I've mentioned and as I do every week, Dee's phone number, all the information is going to be posted on the usual places on social media, so you'll have all that. But in these last few minutes, is there anything specific you wanted to repeat? Is there anything that you wanted to make sure got out there before we close the show?
I don't know. I think we pretty much have gotten the information out there. We're going to come back and repeat this in the future because maybe not everybody could hear this actual show. We're going to be talking with Cynthia in the future because we want to get the message out there because I know there was a lot of confusion. And we don't want people to be confused. We want people to be up to date and know what's going on. And we will have a website that will have our vendors on it once we have that information. We can't provide that because we don't know how much space at this point. We have to figure out where all the tables are going and who can go where and things like that. So until we have all that information, we're not just going to throw names out there and get people all excited.
And we're still not sure when things are going to open up.
Exactly.
I know Justin mentioned earlier that you'll find out over the weekend whether it's going to be a Block 4, Block 6 thing, or Block 2 thing, which is the way the other market was. So we'll be looking for that information as well, and we understand as much as we can understand anything coming out of out of Panama City.
Mixed messaging, maybe a little bit.
A little bit. That the new health minister is considering opening up areas according to how severe or how serious. And we're great here. We're doing fantastic here. So hopefully, we'll be one of those provinces or at least districts, that will be given the go-ahead earlier.
Yeah.
We all definitely want to get out there.
Yeah. And I know the mayor of Boquete, although he's very cautious on the virus coming from outside in, I know he's eager to get the economy rolling again.
Well, sure he is. I mean, that's, you can't blame him for that.
Yeah.
I mean, and I don't mean this in a negative way, but he's a politician, and the politicians make promises, and I believe at least on a local level, a lot of them really want to keep those.
Yeah.
I mean, Haswar is out in the community. He doesn't sit behind his desk and type. He's out. He's visiting different areas. He's involved with the farms. He's involved with the agriculture. He's involved with the restaurants. So I think that's also a positive. That we have a mayor right now who is really, really wants to protect us, right? But also wants to protect his economy.
Yeah.
And that's very important. We're down to about 2 minutes. Before we go, I wanted to let everybody know 2 things. One, reiterate, this is not a nasty competition.
Not at all.
This is everyone's going to work together, and there's room enough for everybody.
Of course.
And having it on Tuesday is going to be the market day.
The market day.
And Tap Out has got some really, really fantastic things that now I'm going to have to park my car and go peek over the fence there because I know I got to go see what.
Look at the dance floor from the bridge. You can see.
Yeah, I'm going to do that. But they got putting in the dance floor, the fire pit, is it grass? It's
artificial.
Yes.
Don't go AstroTurf.
AstroTurf.
That's got a real negative connotation.
Okay. Artificial
nice.
turf. So we've got a lot of good things coming down. I understand that you guys are still delivering through Go Goose.
Yeah, through Go Goose, and Tap Out is actually, we have not been available food from Tap Out for delivery, but we're working on that. It should be coming out soon. Chris is working hard. I think yesterday we opened up Boulder for delivery and I think he was working late last night trying to get all
he sent me a text last night.
So.
He says, don't forget to announce today, that Boulder 54 will be open for delivery starting Wednesday, this coming Wednesday. Phone number 636669977. I will put that in that. My post. Boulder 54 is back for delivery only, though. It's delivery only. It's through Go Goose, okay, and
it's free delivery, by the way.
And it's free delivery. Before we go, I want to give Roger, who's here, he owns the station, and he's got something he wants to share with us.
Well, I just wanted to mention that tomorrow is 4th of July.
Yeah!
You haven't mentioned anything.
Wow.
So, what about it?
Okay, well, you know, I don't know what's going on. Throw a sparkler on it. We all know that, you know, it's an important holiday for those of us who are from Estados Unidos. So we celebrated in our own way, but yes, we should, Roger. Thank you. I should know that. Voice of America News. So tomorrow, happy Independence Day to
everybody,
to everyone who celebrates it. Absolutely. All right, we're about the end of our show now. I want to thank Dee and Justin for coming and sharing with us all the great things that are in store for our community when we're allowed to be a community again. You've been listening to Boquete Now Talk Radio on Radio Cherokee 103.3 FM, sponsored by Big Daddy's Grill, Boulder 54, and the Tap Out Sports Zone, future home of
The Tuesday Market.
All right, thank you, everybody. I hope you have a great day. Paz buen dia. I will talk to you next week.
It went well.
You know, my dad owned radio stations. So like when I was in high school,